Season 12 with our FC Voluntari side in our Building a Nation save in Romania didn't really go to plan towards the end of the season. We finished 6th in the championship playoff phase, but we did finish 5th in the actual league as well. So we're still kind of up the top end of the table, but arguably we want to be pushing for the title every single year. We've won it once, I believe once, maybe even more than once. I should know this, shouldn't I? It is once. We have just won it once. We've technically won it 3 times as a manager. We won it twice with FC Arges and then once with Voluntari. We need to get back to winning the Romanian league, which means in this season, that is exactly what we're going to try and do. And in order to help us do that, we do have a whopping £11.7 million transfer budget to spend. Problem is, and it is like most clubs at the moment in this save in Romania, our reputation is not good enough for that to be really useful, so we're going to do a lot of free transfers. Speaking of, we've already done a couple. We have gone back to FC Arges like we always do and picked up Luis Aribe. We'll go with Luis Aribe, a 24-year-old Colombian defender. I brought him in because I brought him to Arges thinking that he was going to be good. He's still got potential ability, so we're probably going to stick him in maybe the second team and get some game time, or we might play him this season. I'm not quite sure, but he's come in free transfer, no real risk here. Similar situation is Juan Arambari, that's what his name is. He is signed once again on a free transfer, formerly of Real San Sebastian or Real Sociedad and Cadiz. And yeah, coming on a free transfer. Problem is, he doesn't really play our system. I mean, he does technically play our system, but he's more of an attacking midfielder, isn't he? I don't think he's really that defensive midfielder. I'm not quite sure whether he's going to play a lot of football, but, you know, as the season goes on, we will find out. And like I said, obviously, £11 million to spend. Let's see what we do over the summer transfer window. We have spent £1.6 million, but we've also brought in about £1 million as well from selling players. Fernando Cedeno is the first man to talk about, a 25-year-old Panamanian defender. Maybe a left-back. He's probably more of a centre-back, isn't he? Although he is only 5'10". He's coming on a free transfer, formerly of U Cluj in, obviously, Romania. So he's not actually had to come either from Panama. I think he's going to be a good player for us. And once again, we have gone back to FC Arges this time to sign Ferenc Ferher, the Romanian striker and attacking midfielder. He's come in on a free transfer. He was basically out of contract at FC Arges, so we've picked him up. He's good. He's definitely a good player. I'm not convinced he's good enough to play for us every single match, but we might see what we can do. We might end up having to lock him in. Now, moving into the realms of money, we have Silviu Chioni, who has cost £300,000, a Romanian left and right back. We needed some more Romanian players. Yes, it's money, but we've got that money to burn, really. For £600,000, we have signed Serbian central defender Bozidar Mirosavljevic might be his name. At 19 years of age, he's already very, very good. I saw him in the Radnicki side and went, I need this man in my life. So we've basically kind of paid, I would say, over the odds. He's still cheap. He's cost £600,000, but he was worth like 200. He wasn't worth a lot at all, but we had to pay well over his value to get him in. But I think he's going to be a very good player for us. And like I said, 19 years of age, and he's 6'6". He's a big lad. Sticking with our Serbians, we have signed Daniel Radic, 24 years of age, defensive midfielder. 1 cap to his name. He's cost about £700,000. When it comes to players leaving the club, there are probably 4 that we need to take a look at. Florin Raducan, that's his name. 15 years of age, has moved over to Sepsi. And you might think that's a bit of a risk because he could have some potential, and you might be right. But they offered £190,000 after add-ons, plus some percentage sell-ons there as well. And I genuinely don't think that he's going to make it in our team because he's not an attacking midfielder. He's not a winger, so we've shifted him on. For £350,000, Geronimo Cavelli has moved on, going to Quilmes in, I want to say they were in Argentina, aren't they? Quilmes in Argentina? We should know this. They are definitely in Argentina. He has gone for, how much did I say? £325,000, potentially going to £350,000. So, good profit. Adel Al-Borghermi has also left the club. He has gone over to Rakow, who I want to say are Polish. They are a Polish side. He has gone for £325,000, potentially going up. Not potentially going up, just £325,000. We just weren't really playing him. And the big one for £900,000, Lubomir Todorov has left the club. He's had a couple of very good, very useful seasons for us, moving to CSKA over in his native Bulgaria. We basically are going to start phasing him out, or were going to start phasing him out of the club. So to get 725 up front, potentially going to 900, that's some very good money. There's also a whole load of loan deals going on, but I think for the most part, nobody really important is going out on loan by the looks of it. You could say Ivan Kostov going to Sepsi on loan is a big one, but he's like our third choice goalkeeper, so it's not that big. So as always, the season has already kicked off, and so far, it started off very, very well. 9 matches played, 8 wins, just 1 defeat, which was against Universitatea Craiova, and they are down in 4th place, but 8 wins is massive, and some of those wins have been massive as well. 2 4-0s, and there are 5-3, so we're doing quite well when it comes to scoring goals. If we can keep this up, we are going to be champions of the Romanian First League for a second time, although it's a long old season. And these are the players that we're going to lock in for the year, or at the very least the first part of the season. We are going to stick with Filipovic in goal as our number 1 goalkeeper. I'm hoping there is a future there. I keep saying this. Filipovic, I think, is going to be very, very good. So he's our number 1 goalkeeper. Radic, the new signing, we're going to force play him as that defence midfielder because basically they don't seem to want to put him there. If I don't force play him there, they don't seem to want to do it. We've also got Umaru playing as that attacking midfielder. Had a very good season last year playing in that position, so we're going to give him another try. And then on the left-hand side, the Kenyan now international with 5 caps, Collins Wafulu, and he's starting to look really, really good. I'm concerned that Wafulu's not going to be sticking around for too much longer. He's already got 5 goals and 3 assists in the league so far this season. He's going to have a big year, which could be a problem because he's definitely going to just up his ability and his value and all sorts of things, and we're probably going to lose him. We've hit the winter break. It's the 22nd of December, and we are still top of the table. We're also into the Romanian Cup quarterfinals, but being top of the table with just 1 defeat in 21 appearances or matches so far, and that was obviously very early on in the season. And I knew it was going to happen. I was just hoping it was not going to be during January. I was hoping we'd get another season out of him. But Collins Wafulu is wanted by Aston Villa and PSG. So it looks like Wafulu might be on his way. But if he does leave in January, what we're going to try and do, obviously get some big money for him. We want to get a sell-on clause in there. And realistically, we want to loan him back for the rest of the season, don't we? As you'd probably expect as well, if we do go into January and we do sell Wafulu, our transfer budget is going to increase from an already pretty high £10.5 million to maybe, let's say, £12 million. I don't know how much money we're going to get from, but we've got a lot of money to spend. But I don't think we need to do anything right now. We are top of the table. If we're going to do anything, it needs to be kind of getting some youngsters in and maybe just bolstering. Maybe let's get 1 first-team starter in the squad. I don't even think we're going to do that. Right, we're now mid-February, and he has left. Collins Wafulu has left the club. He has gone to Aston Villa. Of all the teams, you would have thought PSG was the team he'd go to, but no, he has gone to Aston Villa. He's come back on loan until the end of the season. He has gone for 5.25, potentially rising to £7.25 million. But he's not the only young attacking player that has left the club for big money. Joel Umaru has also left the club. He has gone over to PSG and returned on loan, but he's gone for £5 million. I think potentially going more, maybe not actually. It just says £5 million. We obviously do have sell-ons in there as well. And joining the club, we've signed Amadou Fall for about £56,000. We have not done any transfer business realistically in January. We've obviously loaned back in Wafulu and Umaru, but Amadou Fall is the only player that's joined on a permanent deal, and we've loaned him straight back to Diambars in his native Senegal, which, by the way, very good team to go to poach decent young footballers. So, taking a look at the clauses. This is Collins Wafulu's clauses. So, we're going to get 1.3 million after 20 appearances for Aston Villa. 5 international appearances will give us another 1.3 million. We've got that 50% sell-on in there. That's the big one for me, because if he goes for 20, 30, 40 million pounds, we are getting half of that money, which is a lot of money. Looking at Joel Umaru, similar situation. We do have that 50% sell-on fee. So if, and when PSG decide to sell Umaru, we are getting half of that money. So it's good news all round. Even if he never plays for PSG, they might end up starting to release him, or we can buy him on the cheap, and we get him half price, essentially, if we can do that. So it's a win-win situation for us. What isn't a win-win situation, however, is the Romanian First League, because we have dropped down from 1st to 2nd place, because we have lost 3 of our first 5 matches of the new calendar year, which is ridiculous. We have lost against Universitatea Craiova, we've lost against CFR Cluj, and we've lost against Sepsi, which is not very good at all, is it? But we are still up the right end of the table. We've got, 4 more matches of the regular season to play. So hopefully we will be still up around the top half of the table. I say top half, the top position of the table. Once we hit the end of the regular season, our points get halved. So the closer we are to FCSB, the better. And basically, we don't want to be kind of getting our points halved and then dropping down the table because we did not put a big enough gap between us and CFR Cluj. Well, just a month later, and we have finished second in the regular season. FCSB are a whopping 9 points clear of us. However, when we jump into the Champions playoff, we are sat second place still on 33. FCSB are now just 4 points ahead of us. So, it is still very much all to play for. Obviously, all the 5 teams that we still have to play in the Champions playoff are very good sides. And I'm thinking it might be another situation like last season, where if we just slip up against FCSB and a Cluj, all of a sudden, we're just going to drop down this table because everything's still pretty close. Craiova and Arguez arguably a little bit too far away to be involved in this fight, but all it takes is 1 or 2 wins, and then they're straight back in there, and they've pushed somebody else out. Now, I didn't mention this at the end of the transfers, but I probably should have done. We have done a slight tweak to who was basically being force played. Filipovic keeps his place, Radic keeps his place, but we reinstated Sigurd Steinsson, partially because I really like him, and he wasn't playing because he's not good enough. He's wanted. Who wants him? Shandong. That's a lot of money we could get for Sigurd Steinsson if he does leave. And we've also put on that right-hand side David Mahes, who is a player who I think we signed from Polytechnica Iasi. He's good. He's a good winger. He's Romanian as well, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure he got some game time. We need to make sure that we are developing Romania as a nation. That's kind of the purpose of this save. Hey, editing Stuart here. Completely forgot to record this bit. So, David Mahes was a player that we did actually sign at the start of the season for £475,000, potentially going up to nearly £600,000 from Polytechnica Iasi. He's a Romanian right winger. Just completely forgot to record that bit, didn't I? So, yeah, you're getting it now. So, we're about to go to the end of the season, but I just want to confirm what positions we need to finish in order to get European football. So, obviously, winning the league gets us Champions League, UEFA Cup. UEFA Cup? What year is this? It's the Europa League in second place, Europa Conference League in third and fourth. This doesn't make sense to me because realistically that should be fifth place now gets the European places playoff final because there's more teams qualifying for Europe. But anyway, I think if we finish third, we do play this match and then basically whoever we're playing gets Europe automatically. I think that's what's going to happen. Well, FCSB won 7 of their 10 games, drew the other 3 and did not lose a single game, which means they are crowned champions of Romania, which is not very good at all, but we have finished in second place. We have qualified for the Conference League. I don't know why we haven't qualified for the Europa League. I'm not quite sure really what's gone on there, but fair enough, we have finished second place. And unfortunately, we also finished second place in the Romanian Cup. So, we are the bridesmaid right now. We are the bridesmaid of Romanian football. We finished second place in both competitions. But it does kind of go to show, if we're not in European football, we can have a much, much better season, can't we? We can do a lot better. I am worried that we did lose 3 matches. Losing 6-2 against Arguez is not good, is it? Losing against FCSB is kind of expected. Losing against Rapid and Arguez, our 2 former teams, we've lost them. I don't like that. Something that I'm going to try and do in the next few seasons is get our stadium expanded because our stadium is too small. If you look down here, we have 2 stadiums. We have a Europa Conference League stadium because our regular stadium is too small, which is just madness. We do not want to be borrowing somebody else's stadium to play Europa Conference League football. We want our own ground, which means we need to try and look to expand this one. It is only 6,777 seater. That is tiny. That's a very small stadium, so we need to change that. The frustrating thing is we don't really sell it out too often. We sell it out there against FCSB. And then, I mean, we sell out occasionally. The final game of the season was a sellout as well. So we might struggle purely because the board isn't going to want to expand a stadium that is not getting sold out unless they want to build a new one, which is also a possibility. We don't seem to have a huge amount of players who have contributed a lot of goals and assists this season. We've got Dimitriu has got 10 assists. He is our top assister for the entire year with just 10. He's the only player who's broken double figures, which is a bit of a worry. And we've only got 2 players as well who've broken double figures for goals as well. Attila Greco is the first one, 17 goals in all competitions, just the 1 assist. And Meziani is the other one with 20 goals and 7 assists in all competitions. And that's it. However, I am thinking, if we take a look, Umaru, technically, you played for us twice this season. So you got 10 goals in the first half, plus 4 assists, and then 4 goals and 3 assists. So, okay, you've got 14 goals and 7 assists. And how did Collins do? So you got 12 goals in the first half, 3 goals in the second. So 15 goals and 8 assists. Okay, so it's not that bad. It just looks a lot worse when you sort by assists and you don't see like loads of players with loads of assists. I mean, we've still got Ben Salem, Meziani, and Arambari, that's his name, all with 7 as well. So we're not doing too badly at all. Mihai's getting 6 and 6, which is very useful. I do like the look of that. Have we got any youngsters other than Dimitru? We've got Miller Savage, whatever his name, this man, the now 20-year-old. I mean, he's getting good as well. He's actually very good. I'm quite happy with that. I do just want to show you my second team as well, who are in the second division of Romanian football, by the way. So I'll kind of give you a little rundown of what happens. It's a mess because there are a lot of second division sides or second teams in here. So Voluntari, we finished second in the league. However, we can't get promoted, so we don't go into the Champions playoff. We automatically go into the relegation group, which is why we've won this group by a stupid distance, to be honest. And I imagine it is Craiovia, there you go, winning the second group. So we are playing quite a high level of football for our second team. We were literally playing this level of football like 2 years ago. Or not, maybe 4 years ago, something like that. But because of that level of football, I'm making sure that there are some players who are in this team, like Uribe. He's playing for the second division side. He's playing mostly for the second division side. We've got Cedeno playing for the second division side right now. We've got Diawara. He's still here. He's playing for the second division side now, and he's going to play there for the rest of his playing career. I've decided I'm never losing this man. He's like my weird talisman that's awful at football, but he keeps coming with me. Much like Lucas Kashar, he's also still here playing for the second side as well. 7 goals, 5 assists, quite good. And one of the good things as well about them playing for this second tier side is if they actually get any good, they can just get promoted and play for the first team. I mean, Eric Aruna, I'm hoping. I've got high hopes for Aruna. He's 21 at the moment, 6 caps for Benin. He might get good. He's just not good enough to play for the first team, but he's playing 23 times in the second division. I'm happy with this kind of setup. This setup's very useful for me. Now, there is one thing that I am concerned about, and that is coefficients for Romania, because obviously we were not in Europe. And when we're in Europe, we do quite well. We kind of bump those numbers up. But because we are not in Europe, it means we are relying on everybody else. So 17th place at the moment, it's an improvement because we're losing a 5.125. Oh, it's a big improvement as well. So we're moving up from 17th to, oh my word, are we like 11th? 11th place. We're 11th place, which means we get 2 teams in the Champions League qualifiers. I mean, we don't get somebody directly into the Champions League, but 2 teams into the Champions League qualifiers is massive. That's absolutely huge. We want to be 10th. Best place to be is 7th, because then you get 1 team in the Champions League, 1 team in the Europa League straight away. So that's huge. That's a huge season for us. We're weirdly quite high. So this is basically shows you the teams who have done the best, or the nations that have done the best coefficients for this last year. We are the 8th best nation when it comes to playing football in Europe, which is huge. That's absolutely huge. Anyway, that is going to do it then for Season 13 with FC Voluntari in our Building a Nation Save of Romania next season. It's another European adventure. We need to close that gap between us and FCSB. Obviously, we're going to no longer have Collins Wafulu next year. We're going to no longer have Joel Omaru either, but we do have a fairly sizable transfer budget, £12.4 million potentially in our budget next season. That could go a long way. Or we could spend £400,000 on 7 players from Africa and hopefully develop them into world-class footballers, which is also an option, and I'm probably going to do that one, aren't I? Right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.